When I start drawing a nose, I want to try to find some lines first. And there's not always a lot. So in a straight on view like this, I probably am only going to be able to see some lines on the bottom of the nose and around the nostrils. And then other than that, I'm really just going to have to start seeing some forms. And so I will look for big shadows, and I'll kind of separate the lights from the darks here like I'm outlining. And this will help to start give you a pretty good view of what's going on. And another thing I can do is I can try to break the form of the nose down into simpler forms. And I can do this by kind of imagining three spheres, one large sphere making up the ball of the nose, and then two smaller spheres that are kind of set behind the ball of the nose. And then I can draw a cross contour line around the surface of the sphere, and that can give you a pretty good idea of what you're looking at as well. Getting started, I'm just doing some quick measurements to make sure my proportions are accurate, and then I'm just gonna start outlining as many things as I can. So I can find kind of the contour lines around the bottom of the nose and the nostrils, and then I'll use some lines to separate the shadows or separate the lights and the darks, like I was describing in that example just a minute ago. And I just want to make sure that I have all my lines and proportions set in the right spot before I start blocking in my value. My first pass here is just blocking in the value. I'm looking at it and really simplifying the number of values that I'm seeing and that I'm putting onto the paper. Pretty much just like lights and darks, and then maybe breaking it down into three values. So I'm not trying to accurately describe the values, rather just mapping out where they are, and then once I feel like they're in a good spot, then I will progress into being a little bit more accurate with them. But this first step is just seeing where the shadows are. I like to do a little blend and smooth out that first pass, and then moving into the second pass, I'm starting to be much more concerned with matching my values accurately. I'm referring to a value scale. I'm going back and forth between my reference. I'm trying to get all the little subtle shifts in lights and darks, and and using brushes and paper stump and different pencils and whatever you got to do to really get all the values that are in your reference photo accurately described. As I start getting into my third pass, I'm starting to be more concerned with highlights and details. So I want to put this stuff off till the very end. For example, the reference has some freckles on it. I do not want to think about those freckles until very close to the end of the drawing, because those freckles are on top of everything, right? They're on top of the skin, that's on top of the structure of the nose, the cartilage, whatever. So and those are sitting in and out of a shadow. So those are the last things that you're concerned with. But so you can see that I'm starting to go back with an eraser and make sure my light areas and my highlighted areas and my glares are nice and white, I'm putting down some dots for where my freckles are going to be, and I'll just go over those like with a paper stump or something to smooth out the edges of those a little bit, because you don't want, you know, real hard edges around the freckles. That wouldn't look very accurate. So uh, and at this stage of the drawing is when you can start worrying about these little details though, like the freckles, like the skin pores, like the glares, all that kind of fun stuff.